go make money.
Today's episode of A Couple of Bettors is brought to you by Moneyline Limousine Services. Whether you find yourself in Sin City or you're a Vegas local, choose Moneyline Limo.
Moneyline, it's all about the vibes. Take your friends around in style in their newly updated party buses.
Whether it's a hotel or the dinner reservations on the Strip, for a wedding, pool parties, corporate event, or our personal favorite, a ride to a sporting event, Moneyline has you covered.
Visit their user-friendly site at www.moneylinelimo.com to book your sick ride today.
Mention Couple of Bettors podcast, receive 25% off of any ride that's 3 hours or more. All right, let's move on to today's episode. What's up, everybody? Couple of Bettors coming back at you, episode 37.
Yes, if only we had some wins to talk about. No.
We did not have any wins to talk about. Black Friday, that was a mess. Tim Boyle is not the answer. I know that one. Yeah, it's a little bit rough. So, look, the Jets trug on. The Bills had a rough one.
They did not have a rough one. They had a fucking sick game. Everybody that was watching that game was thoroughly thoroughly impressed and entertained, for sure. That was the word. But we'll talk about why there's 1,000 reasons that the Bills may have lost. However, none of them are because of Joshua Allen. He fucking crushed it. He looked sick. Proud of you. That's why I'm rocking my shirt today specifically. Because if there's nothing else you can say, it's I heart Josh.
Yep. Do not heart Sean McDermott's second half defense.
No, he's actually very bad at that. I don't know when we're going to stop looking to him for that. But anyways. So moving on, though, we'll get to those little details later.
Yep. Starting off, every now and again we do it. You got Vegas. This is a good one.
This is a good one. We only like to bring them up when they're, worth it. Right now you're looking at a lovely video of a couple middle-aged, I guess you would put them in that category,
maybe
ladies. A little over middle-aged. And they're clearly hammered, very well-dressed. But if you've ever been to the Bellagio, you know that there is a botanical conservatory. Yeah. I forget what they call it specifically.
It's both conservatory and botanical gardens.
Yes, okay, there we go. It's like a giant ass greenhouse on the fancy end because it's Bellagio. Mm-hmm. And everything there is made out of 1 million of flowers. So as you can see, these lovely drunk ladies are just climbing their way through beautiful, very expensive flowers to get on a carousel and ride the carousel that doesn't move, that's made out of flowers. And were eventually arrested because they were highly intoxicated and behaving inappropriately. Yeah. And you're not allowed to do that there, people. No matter how drunk you are, we don't give you a pass for that. So drunk people doing things, they got Vegas for sure.
I mean, it's the least rowdy place you could possibly go is the Botanical Gardens. Everybody there is taking pictures. It's quiet. These ladies were...
somber music playing. It's
on
ridiculous.
Another level. So, they came to Vegas and they got Vegas.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. All right, next up, let's face it, people in news, coaches in the news, and so on and so forth. First one I wanted to highlight, related to the Bills game, Jake Elliott, the kicker of the Eagles. I mean, what was that the best kick possibly of all time? 59 yards in Philly in the rain. This isn't Denver, thin air, high altitude, Jason Elam kicking a 63-yarder in the beautiful sunshine. I mean, this is insane. I've never seen a kick that good in my life. I mean, if you looked at the sideline, they showed a video of Kelsey and also a side-by-side of him and Hurts, and they both just saw it go through, and they just both kind of like smirked and went like, oh, fucking shit. And they got their shit going, their helmet, whatever, but...
I mean, if it helps, Bass is fantastic, and he missed twice that day.
Yeah, had a block and a miss, yeah.
Again, one of the many reasons why we should have won but didn't. But that kind of leads us to our next, let's face it. We're using Sean Hockey, but as the face of all the refs, they suck. They're at this point, many players from many teams are just complaining, you're finding us for silly bullshit, but you're neglecting calls or calling things that aren't there, and no one's disciplining you, no one's punishing you, no one's taking accountability on your end for these mistakes. There was if you watched the game, you saw Josh Allen got pulled by his fucking horse collar, so much so that his entire uniform was just ripped into shreds. And even have a still picture of the ref just eyes directly right there and never called a thing. And this keeps happening to us. There were a few other calls this game.
The Diggs holding when he
it was all over. We could all see it. If you could see it on TV at a regular pace and they can't see it, the NFL is rigged. They got to fix this. I mean, come on now. This is ridiculous. And I don't know why you would want to rig it so that the Eagles just keep winning and winning and winning, but it should have been like 44-34 this game instead of 37-34 because we should have not missed field goals. We should have gotten a couple touchdowns that was on our fault, but then we should have also had some calls going in our favor, and that never happened. So shout out to the refs. You fucking suck. Get your shit together because you're not making football fun anymore. You're not letting people play, but then when they do play wrong, you're not calling it. Depending on the team, it's getting out of control at this point.
Back in the in the 80s, there was a point where there was everything was instant replay, whatever. But post that era, where there was not, the refs, like it was good old fashioned makeup calls. So if the ref called something, then he kind of saw it on the jumbotron. Was like, fuck. They would just go like 2 plays later. They would just call like some bullshit hold in the middle of the play, and they would go, okay, thanks, I got my yards back. And everybody kind of knew that was a bullshit call after, but it was like, all right, I'm making up for the old bullshit call. So I don't know. I feel like they need to do a little bit more of that stuff because that was a little bit rough.
Or just wait. Watch it replay on the jumbotron and be like, okay, this is what the call is. I mean, at this point, we're not going to, you're human beings. We can get it if you don't catch something or you're not sure about something and you throw the flag, let me check it. Do that instead of but these were blatant, obvious calls that they clearly saw that they just didn't call. And it's getting out of control now. I mean, we've seen it with Tom Brady. We've seen it with Mahomes. They flop over like dead people and it's, oh my God. But, someone like Josh Allen, they're just letting him get destroyed because he's a bigger guy and they're like, he can handle it. But, a call is a call. Penalties are penalties. They should be equal for everybody. I could rant for like an hour on that because this happened to us in the Bengals game and then now this game. It's just like, you just want to see the Bills fail for silly reasons. So, anyway, on that note, the rich get richer. The Dolphins are signing Jason Pierre-Paul.
Yeah.
I will never forget this man because many, many, many moons ago when he played on the Giants, he blew up his hand in a firework accident.
That's right.
And this motherfucker got to wear a giant club and bat balls out of the air. He was allowed to continue playing with a cast that came out to probably a good 3 inches past where his actual hand should be. And he couldn't do anything with stopping people except hit them with his club and bat balls out of the air with his club. And everybody was like, oh my God, look at him. It's like, no, that's not fair. That's cheating. So anyway.
Right. Like how big can a club go?
It was, if you could see it, please go back and just find images of this thing. You'd be mortified if you don't remember, if you weren't watching football like we were back then. It just ridiculous that the NFL was okay with this. Insane.
Do you remember seeing a picture of his hand when it got blown up?
I didn't look. It
was like a bunch of chopped meat and bones. It was terrible.
But it was totally worth it for him, so he could have a giant, overly excessive club to just bat balls out of the air with. So we'll see how he does on the Dolphins. I don't know, but it's just like between the Dolphins and the Eagles looking at
Shaq Leonard.
Yeah,
it's either going to be them or the Cowboys, they said.
Right. Both teams are just like good teams, and they're just picking up good players, possibly. It's just a hot mess. So let's go Buffalo. You still have a shot at the playoffs.
You got a shot. More than you can say about the Jets.
Yes,
all right. Moving on. Frank Reich. I think it might be the only guy ever. It's back-to-back years he was hired and then fired in the middle of the season. So we had the Colts, then he goes to the Panthers. Both of them didn't make it through one season. So after that, I got to imagine you're done. Can you really get, you're not going to get a head coaching job. He'll probably end up like as an offensive coordinator somewhere.
Maybe he'll go coach for the Patriots after Belichick decides to go work for the Commanders or the Rams or something.
It could be. They need an offensive guy.
Or maybe Belichick will come work for the Bills because McDermott will no longer be coaching.
I think I did see something. It was like something saying, why not Frank Reich back to the Bills? He used to play for them. He was a backup quarterback. And they were saying, why not him go to, and they said that would be a Billsy thing to do. But
I mean, Buffalo loves, We love nostalgia. That would be the only reason why I'd be like, yes, come on back.
90s Bills. Let's go.
Let's go.
All right, last up, we all saw it. Everybody saw it on the news. Aaron Rodgers. Look, they're opening up a 20-day window for him to be able to practice and stuff, so they could potentially activate him. To me, I don't think this is a move more than like, look, if they win the next 3 games, he comes back and plays to the end of the season and see if they have a shot to win out from here. My guess is if they lose to Atlanta, that's it. He's just going to be on the field with his boys for some practice time for the rest of the year, and then he's not going to come back this year, and he'll continue to kind of make sure he's all shored up for next year. But
if they lose to the Falcons.
But if they beat the Falcons, they keep on going, right? So then he keeps rehabbing, he keeps going, and then you got. I think there's winnable games, but you do have the Dolphins at some point that you gotta play without Aaron Rodgers, and you got to play him in Miami. So it's like the game before Aaron could come back, it would be against the Dolphins. So it's like I think we have them. We have the Falcons, Commanders. It's like you could win those.
Patriots at some point, no? Oh yeah, the last game is Patriots.
Yeah. But before Rodgers, it's the 3. So you got to go.
Oh, you're saying you got to win the Dolphins games without Rodgers.
Without Rodgers, yeah.
I think Rodgers needs to stay the fuck home until next season. Don't hurt yourself, man. It's not worth it.
It's a rough one. Look at the fans. The fans are not going to be mad if you don't come back. No. The fans will be mad if you come back and you hurt yourself again.
Exactly. So stay home.
Stay home. Well, anyway, how did we do betting last week? How did we do? Hit rate, okay, 55%. That'll usually make you break even. But the good news was the locks of the week hammered again, both of them. And it actually made us a lot of money. So we're up 10 units for the week. That's back-to-back weeks up over 9 units.
And I'm sure most of you had the same issue on Thanksgiving where you watched your parlay go to shit after the first 10 minutes of the first game, as did we.
Yes.
So that's why if you see we have a big win on the Niners because after the Commanders game was a downright loss, we hammered the Niners. Thank God the Niners could come through, making our Thanksgiving evening much more joyous.
Yep,
full of money.
Full of money on that one. Yeah, and then think about other ones to highlight. The Bills. So look, it sounds crazy.
It's crazy.
It was right along the spread. So depending on when you got your bet in, when we recorded the podcast, it was 3.5. So I hit them up with the 3.5, and by a good amount. I knew some people that bet the Eagles and had them at 2.5. And they covered. So depending on when you got that line in, you might have won or lost that game. But luckily, we had them to plus 3.5. And I felt good about it for a long part of the game. But fucking shit. Didn't work for the rest of the game. So, sucks.
It's a good game, though. It was very good
game. Look, even with all said and done, there's 2 things. One, the guy doesn't forgetting about the missed field goals for the Bills. The guy doesn't hit the 59-yarder. It's game over, right? You win. Then, after that, it's like, there's 20 seconds left. Does McDermott give a shot to go down the field to kick a field goal before the game's over? No, he takes a knee. So he's questionable about whether or not decision. I get it. It's raining, whatever, if it's going to be a fumble. But then in overtime, Allen brings him down. And you think he's going to get a touchdown. And there's this one option route where Gabe Davis is either going to cut it outside or he's going to come inside. And they both read it the wrong way where Allen thought he was coming inside. Gabe Davis went outside. And either way he chose would have been a touchdown as long as they were both on the same page. And
Absolutely.
It sucks. So, yeah.
Well, at least, Bills, you still got it. It wasn't a win. And I know a win's a win. This was an actual loss. But you guys did look good. I just wanted to be happy celebrating. So, anyways, but some of you covered on that one. Josh covered. That was good. I do like, at least both of us don't have to be pissed off. It was just me.
Yeah.
Ravens was my lock of the week, and for some reason, I just did not put a lot of money on it. I don't know why. Again, this is the second time I'm having slight issues with my betting situation, but they covered them. I think we all...
I hammered them, and they covered. The reality was they scored a meaningless touchdown towards the end of the game with, not that much time remaining, and it bailed us out. We got the cover, so... Good job,
teams
Ravens.
Win, great teams cover.
That's right, because they were already going to win.
Oh, and then any of you wasted your evening last night like we did 2 nights ago, on Monday Night Football, watching the Vikings versus the Bears. I am sorry, that is 3 hours you can never get back of your life. And the Vikings couldn't even fucking cover, which is just insane.
Well, it was Josh Dobbs throwing 4 picks.
Yeah.
A couple were batted, but not great.
Just a horrible, horrible game, especially
Yep.
if you bet the Vikings and you were losing money. So,
Yep.
thank you, Monday Night Football. We thought flexing was going to happen. Haven't seen that yet.
All right, injury report. It's going over some injuries that are notable for the week when you're betting out there. One of the ones actually 2 for this Thursday night game. Kenneth Walker, questionable still with the oblique. Last week it was questionable. He's still questionable for this week now on a short week. So that would hurt the Seahawks. And then Micah Parsons just today, all of a sudden, he said he got an illness. So, is he going to play or not? They don't know. My guess is usually when you see illness, guys will fight through. They IV the shit out of him. They get him going, pump him up with the vitamins, and get the guy out in the field. If he's got to go out, take a couple shits at halftime, he's got to do what he's got to do. I don't know why. It could be something else.
I'm sure if he's just got food poisoning, no one's thinking, they'd have to write him off. But maybe the flu, it might suck. Look at how Mahomes played with the flu.
True.
Or, I'm sorry, wait. That was because Russ Wilson is back, too.
Right, well, he's back.
Cooking.
What? Oh, speaking of shitting at halftime, whatever. Do you remember the Bills game? At the end of regulation, Jason Kelce goes into the locker room.
Oh, I saw that.
And they're like, "Oh, he has to piss, whatever, before overtime." It's like, what a veteran move. And some people were saying, "Do you remember when he has a couple false starts towards the end of the game?" There was some memes going around, false start. They were saying maybe who knows,
All right, well that's just terrible.
Yeah.
Jason Kelce didn't actually have to do any of that. We're sorry. That's why you should never talk about that. Terrible. Anyway, moving on. Kenny Pickett, Steelers. He's probable this Sunday, along with Baker Mayfield. I mean, I think he's almost for sure active. They're just holding it out.
Yeah, just saying he's a little banged up.
Yeah.
But one thing we missed, that Jonathan Taylor, he hurt his thumb, and they weren't sure if he was going to be out for a while. It looks like this one's going to be not even injured reserve, maybe just 1 or 2 weeks, but he had to get that thing fixed up. So he does have Zach Moss behind him, who did a good job while he was out. So that's,
right.
Probably not the biggest deal. And then the Dolphins ruled out this guy, Ahmed. I mean, they're stocked up. They got A-Chain, who's still a little banged up too, but they, Mostert, and this guy Ahmed is out for the season now with a foot.
I'm sure Goddard will be happy to come back against the 49ers because that's going to be a huge game. I mean, as you'll see later, our money's on the Niners, and honestly, I think the Niners are the better team. We almost dominated the Eagles, and it was a lot of our own mistakes, not anything that they did that great. I mean, I'm not taking away from Jalen Hurts' abilities. The Eagles are very good, but that was a close fucking game. We should have came out on top. We made some errors. That's on us, not on them looking so sick, so much better than us. So for going against the 49ers and them just being this is our chance because we should have beat them last season, but we lost Purdy. This might be their redemption. But anyway, so the Eagles do need him, though.
Yeah.
That was my point.
T. Higgins is probable to come back for the Bengals, who they really need him because they got rough shape after Burrow went down. All right, let's get into the games. First game, Thursday Night Football. Seattle Seahawks going to the Dallas Cowboys. Going to the Cowboys is tough. I mean, Cowboys have been putting up I think it's almost 40 points a game at home. Mm-hmm. Oh.
At home, clarify. When they play the Bills, they will be going to Buffalo. Mm.
Yeah, so you hope they get Micah Parsons because that is a big one. Let's hope we're kind of betting he's going to play here, but Cowboys minus the 9.
It's a rough spread. I am slightly nervous of it. That's why it's not my lock. Probably not why it's not your lock. But the Seahawks have just been all the way down. So
we bet the Commanders on Thanksgiving, and it was 45-10. So they won by 35. I think the 9 points they could do it here. Seattle, they're fine. They
that's
just.
What I say, but they're going down. They started off on top, and then now they're just kind of
exactly
falling down. So definitely, we would suggest take the Cowboys even at that -9 spread with Micah being questionable. They're playing at home.
Yep.
Here's a game I'm staying off of because I think it's gonna be boring.
Chargers at the Patriots. Look, the Patriots are a brutal team to watch.
Yes.
Their defense is decent, but their offense is trash. Mac Jones, trash. Bailey Zappi, trash. Doesn't matter who you put in there. Both of those guys are trash. So I don't even know who they're going to start, but doesn't even matter. And so I just feel like it'll be like some kind of rainy, windy, crappy game. But I do think that the Chargers are just a better team overall, and that should be able to go there and win by the 6 points. And I kind of think that it's very possible that the Patriots are tanking.
Can we bring up the fact that Rex Ryan went off on a tangent last week because Belichick wouldn't tell anybody who was the starting quarterback, and Rex Ryan goes, "Who cares? Your team sucks. Your team is so bad. Both quarterbacks suck. They don't care. Just tell us who you're starting." Why do you think it's cool? It was cool when Tom Brady was around. Not cool now. Like you gotta watch it. Check it out. His sexy Rexy rant was hilarious, and it's exactly what everybody should be thinking. Like, your little mind tricks are useless because your team is terrible. You don't need to be doing them right now.
Yep. My guess here, to be honest with you, is that there's already a backdoor handshake deal with Robert Kraft that Belichick is going to be departing after the season. Right. They're going to figure out who he's going to go to. They're going to give up some draft picks. So Robert Kraft is going to go, look, we're not going to fucking go to the playoffs at all. No chance. So tank for me here, and then I'm going to get a really high draft pick, and I'm going to have some draft picks because I'm going to get rid of you as a coach, and I'm going to give this to the new GM and the new coach that they hire after. I mean, it makes a lot of sense to me, which is another reason why I'll take it. Now, the question is, like last week, they did have a chance to tie the game up with no time remaining, and the guy missed a field goal. Did he whisper, missed the fucking kick? It would be weird to do that to a player, and have them trust you enough to not have that come out. But I'm going Chargers minus the 6 points because fuck the Pats, and they suck.
Yep, fuck the Pats.
Ooh.
All right, we are on my lock of the week. Woo! Lions at Saints. Lions totally disappointing on Thanksgiving, but I can't not take them here. The Saints are awful. Derek Carr is continuing to drive the struggle bus. The Lions going to the Saints. Saints at home doesn't seem to matter. They still can't pull out anything good. And the Lions are a strong team. I don't know what happened to them. I think it was that whole moon phase waxing gibbous thing. That pretty much, I think, just solidified it. They are now 13-0 of losses because of that moon situation. So it may actually play a role, and I guess next time we'll have to really follow that instead of laughing it off like we did. So I'm taking the Lions -4 at the Saints Sunday on the early game. I think they'll be just fine.
Yep. Yeah, I'm on that too. I just think, I get a little nervous sometimes when the Lions go like outdoor in the cold and all that stuff, but they're going to another dome. Same old stuff. So, yeah, I'm with it. -4, not that bad. All right, this is my lock of the week. Falcons going to the Jets. Not lock on a team, it's on a player. I'm going to go with Desmond Ridder over 0.5 interceptions. Why do I say that? The Jets take the ball away, right? That's what they do. They have 11 games, and they've taken away 12 interceptions, let alone fumbles and everything else, but 12 interceptions. So they're averaging over 1 a game. And the company that Ridder would be in once he gets his pick are going to be Allen, Mahomes, Hurts, Tua. All those guys had multiple interceptions. You're telling me that Desmond Ridder is going to go in there and not throw a pick? Bullshit. I'm taking that one. Not betting the game. I would lead on the under 34 points. But I'm going to go with the rookie guy going up against a Robert Saleh defense, strong. And those corners are going to get those picks after the front line gets after them, gets those sacks. Bryce Huff with probably some multiple sacks. I might look at that prop bet too.
I would suggest put your money on the Falcons, but I'm not mean, so I'm just going to lean on the Falcons. Because it's the Jets.
I understand this. I
Jets
do think
find
that
a way.
If it was me and I was putting the line here, I'd probably put it at like -5.5 for the Falcons. Yeah. But
so if you want to make some money, take the Falcons. But I also do like his lock that
2 pick sixes.
I'm definitely going to be jumping in on that Ridder over thing because that's fun, and at least you can go, yay! There's a pick.
I bet it last week. I had Tua over the 0.5 interceptions and the hit before the half, obviously because of a pick six, and then he threw another one. So get that prop bet in for the lock.
Very good. Well, another fun game. Cardinals at the Steelers. We're both leaning on the Steelers because, since Matt Canada's been in, they've been.
Oh, since he's been out.
I'm sorry, Matt Canada's been off. Sorry.
Yeah.
Since he's been out, they've been, crushing it in one sense. They're better than they were with him. And Cardinals are looking like Kyler Murray is their quarterback.
Yeah, they just look not good.
There's no excitement in this game, people. Don't even bother wasting your time.
Nope, that's a bad game.
Bad game. But then we have the Colts at the Titans, and I'm not even jumping up and down shouting this bet, but for some reason I just want it. The Colts -1, that's an easy spread, obviously. Titans have not been looking good. They did win against the Panthers, but everybody wins against the Panthers. Colts have won 3 in a row, which is great. It does terrify me that they're due, but I don't think they're due against the Titans. I think I'm going to lay off after this game, but I think they're still going to pull out a little itty-bitty win against the Titans when the Titans are at home, so I'm taking the Colts. Josh is just leaning on him because he's probably scared.
Well,
like I slightly am.
Yeah, it's just like the Colts offensively have been putting up a bunch of points, which is great. I just get scared a little bit when you go to Tennessee. Mike Vrabel's defense is pretty good, and how Will Levis is going to be, we'll see. You'd like to see the young kid do good, but I'm gonna stay away from this one.
I don't blame him, but I want it for.
Speaking of another one, I'm staying away from. Dolphins at the Commanders. Up next.
Listen, I'm taking the Commanders not because I think the Commanders are going to win. I think that's a high spread at the Commanders. The Dolphins, I keep saying, are a fugazi team. So, Dolphins beat up the Jets. So did the Bills. But then the, Bills also beat up the Commanders. But it wasn't, I don't know. I want the Commanders to cover. I think they're going to cover the spread at +9.5. But like I said, the Dolphins are going to win. They're going to get their crappy win. Their win that don't mean shit. But Commanders still can cover by +9.5.
Yeah, I'm leaning on the under 50 here. There's a 46% chance of rain in the game here. So I just feel like that's going to slow the Miami Dolphins down. So a 50 under over seems very high to me. If it starts raining, forget it. That's going to actually drop that line. So I'm going to bet on, or I would lean on the under.
Broncos at Texans. I lean on the Texans. They played well against the Jags. They only lost by 3. They didn't win, but they only lost by 3 against the Jaguars, and we all know how good they look. But you've got Russ doing much better than he did at the beginning of the season. So because of that, I think if you're going to take one here, I would take the Texans, but I'm not that confident enough to put money on it.
Yeah, I'm just, I'm always scared when a team is 5-0 in the last 5 games. So, I'm kind of would be scared a little bit of the Broncos here. That's why I'm probably not betting on the Texans. But I do think, it feels to me like the game under 47 is such a high number. And with both offenses, being decent, they go back and forth a little bit, but I can't see it being a crazy shootout. So, stayed away.
Well, we're both on this game. Panthers at Bucks.
Yeah.
I am so sorry if any of you are a Panthers fan. We're sitting here complaining about our 2 teams, but at least we get to cheer for
it's competitive.
Some wins and possibilities. And that is why you must take the Bucks. And it's -5.5. The Bucks are at home. The Panthers are just terrible. I am so sorry again. Apologize. Now some people are going to be like, well, everybody was fired. Let's see what they can do. I don't think they're going to have that, let's go. I think they're just trying to get through this season no matter what and make changes for next season. So we're both go ahead, Bucks, no problem.
Yeah, a lot of drama over there. I mean, there's word that potentially the reason why Frank Reich and then, McCown, who was a quarterback's coach, and this other guy who was there, they were all fans of C.J. Stroud, and they wanted to have him picked up, but the owner, David Tepper, was leaning towards Bryce Young and wanted to pick him up. So they draft, obviously, Bryce Young, and as we see the season play out, C.J. Stroud was the right choice, right? He's having an amazing year, going to be Rookie of the Year and so on. So there's been a little bit of that's going on behind the scenes. So all this drama and stuff like that leads me to believe that the Bucs at home should be able to pick up this win, even with Baker with a little bit of a banged-up ankle here. Then the next one, this is tough. This is the game of the week. I don't know why it's not flexed into any of the primetime games.
They're not flexing crap. It's weird. I can't wait to watch the refs at this one. That I will be paying attention to. What calls are called and what calls are not called, because we're back at the Eagles on their home territory. Niners have something to prove. Well, I mean, we're definitely hammering the Niners. We think this is their game. This is their time to come back and show. And I'm just pissed. So,
Yeah, they're both great teams, obviously.
Yes.
I think that the San Francisco, run game. I mean, look at Philly's defense from last week. Allen and team just, they jumped all over them, 1,000,000 yards. What, they have 500-plus yards? Converting 10-plus, third down conversions, this and that. There's stuff that Philly's defense did not do at all that I think that is going to really hurt them when they play a team like the Niners that play sound football across everything. I mean, you're talking about not only one of the top 5 offenses, top 5 defenses, top 5 in turnover margin. All those things go in favor of the Niners. Then you look defensively for Philly, and they're 19th in the league in yards per game. Right? So there's, a reason why maybe there has a potential here for this to be a bit of an upset game. Especially, in Philly. A little bit of chance of a rain, but, I think that wouldn't really matter much who it favors.
No, enough. Go Niners.
Browns at the Rams. Look, I mean, Browns have been, they got a shot. Obviously, Deshaun Watson went down. That hurts them, right? The last 2 games, they've scored 12 points, then 13 points. That's not going to do it in this league, especially when you're going up against an offense like the Rams. They're going to put up points. Put up 37 points last week. So for me, I'm betting on the Rams minus the 3.5 at home, just because I think that their offense is going to be too much. I know they're going against a great Browns defense, and those defenses, I mean, like as a Jets fan, I know how this works. You could be a really good defense, but if your offense is never on the field, they're going to score more points against you. It's inevitable, right? Like, so, when you just go 3 and out, it's like, okay, we're going back on the field, guys, and you're gassed and everything else. So I'm going with the Rams here with minus the 3.5.
I agree. I'm just saving my money for other games.
Well, this game we're laying off of, but, Chiefs at Packers.
Yeah, I mean, Chiefs, fine. I get they'll probably pull out a win. They always find a way, but it's probably going to be like by 2 points. It's not going to be 3 points. I don't think they're going to cover this 6.5 spread. They're going to Green Bay. And I also just despise the Chiefs. So there's that.
Yeah, look, Packers coming off 2 wins. Not against great people, but they're coming off 2 wins. I mean, actually, one of them, no, one was the Lions, right? So they beat the share of the Lions just now. Right. And they beat the Chargers, who aren't a bad team. Those 2 things, plus the fact that, they're home and it's going to be cold and maybe rainy, gives them a shot. The Chiefs are pretty good. So you got to admit sometimes don't mess with your money, and maybe you stay away from this one.
Yeah. Or if you like the Chiefs, go for it. I mean,
right, exactly.
I'm sick of them. So sick of them.
And that was the Sunday night game, by the way. And now this is the Monday night game. Bengals at the Jags. Big spread here, minus 8.5.
But this is the new Bengals. The Bengals without Joe Burrow. So Jaguars, I think, have a very great shot at covering, winning by 10 points most likely against this Bengals team when they're at home. I hate to say it, but I mean, it's very, 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 very great chance. And so we're both on the Jags. And we're sure that our friend Monkey is also, because he loves Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah, look, the Jags went on the road and beat up a Texans team that's pretty good, and they beat them up. Now they come back at home and they play against Browning at quarterback instead of Joe Burrow with the Bengals, who really weren't finding a way to win regardless of when Burrow was in. The guys started to get hot there for, 2 or 3 games. So, yeah, you definitely got to go with the Jags here. I think they're probably going to win this one by 17, but we'll call it by 10, and you still win because it's 8.5 point spread.
Yes, sir. And that is our whole weekend of football.
All right, let's get into what we're betting. Screenshot this one, guys. Go to your local bookie and say, hey, Stevie, can I get some bets in here, folks? And then he's like, yeah, let me write them down.
No one uses bookies anymore.
That's right. We use the apps. All right, go to your app.
Much easier.
Starting out Thursday Night Football, Cowboys minus the 9 points. Seems like a lot, but go for that favorite because the Cowboys are just too good at home, and we're both on it.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm on the Chargers minus 6 points against the Patriots because the Patriots are probably tanking and they suck. And that's it.
And then I have the Lions at -4 versus Saints as my lock of the week. Let's go Lions. You disappointed me last weekend. I'm sure you will not do that again this weekend.
Yep. And for me, My lock of the week is going to be a prop bet going with Desmond Ridder to throw over 0.5 interceptions. So he throws one pick, you win the bet. That's what I'm going with against those Jets who just feast on opposing offenses and their quarterbacks, and they take the ball away, and that's why it's going to be a wiener.
Oh, gosh. But I think I actually stand behind that, and I will definitely be putting my money on that, too. I should have put a little box
She'll get credit
there.
for when she bets it. I'll put the little X next to it.
Yes,
when we go back and
that
review.
sounds fun, and I think it's correct. Correct way of thinking. I also have the Colts -1 versus the Titans. Again, not like, I'm just being a weirdo with this one, but if you want to throw some extra money down, I suggest the Colts. Commanders +9.5. I don't think they're going to win, but I think they can cover that spread versus the Dolphins. Show us how fugazi the Dolphins are.
Then we're both on the Bucks minus the 5.5 points versus the Panthers, who are trash. And it's in drama central. Coaches being fired and so on and so forth. Then we go to the Niners and we take them against the Eagles. The Eagles, unfortunately, don't go 19-1 and win the Super Bowl. They go, at least for now, 10-2. And also, to be honest with you, I have a preseason bet that it's a prop that says the Eagles are going to win their division and also the Niners are going to win the division. So I'd like the Niners to get one extra win here. So it'll be for both. And then I'm on the Rams minus the 3.5 points versus the Browns because the Browns don't have a good quarterback at all. They have a good defense, but their defense is not going to be enough against a Stafford-led offense that's coming off a big 37-point win.
And then we're both on the Monday Night Football game, Jaguars -8.5 versus the Bengals, because the Bengals are not the Bengals that they were when Joe Burrow was in. They are crappy Bengals, and the Jaguars continue to dominate. So Jaguars -8.5. And it should at least be maybe a decent game, better than the Vikings versus the Bears game.
Oh, it's got to be.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
If not, I don't know. That's just weird. But
yeah, I mean, we'll be watching it saying, wow, we won every bet for the weekend. Is the Monday Night Football going to be, another win? And it will be. Mm-hmm. Then we'll be wondering, why didn't we put every bet we have into a prop bet plus $18,000? But then, we realize it doesn't happen a lot.
no, we would just be jinxing all the other bets that we put on.
Yep. So it was pretty quick. That's all the stuff we got here for folks getting almost to the holiday time. We're rolling in. We're past Thanksgiving. Now we're going into December, and a lot of good football to be played. I mean, a lot of teams still in the hunt. The freaking Giants, I just found out, are kind of alive. It's like, what? They're 4-8, and because the NFC is, there's a lot of teams that are muddling around at these weird 5-6, whatever the hell type records. They got a shot still. So maybe Tommy DeVito can get those guys into the playoffs. The Jets would need to win every single game.
And the Bills, enjoy your bye week.
Yep.
Get right.
Look, you could probably only give up one more loss.
Oh, absolutely. And we play very difficult teams because that's how things work for us.
Yep.
We'll be going to Arrowhead for the 9th time in a row. Yay.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, if it comes down to it and it's the last game of the year and it's Bills at Miami for playoffs potential. Mm-hmm. I mean, first of all, there's a chance that if, Miami's going to win the division already and it doesn't matter for seeding, they could just sit out everybody and then you guys get a free win. But, you got to get there.
Well, I don't want to go there for the free win. That's that one. I just rather watch on TV.
Yeah.
No problem. You want to fight for that win.
Yep.
So anyway, that's it for this weekend. Hope you guys make money.
Hope you make money. Good luck out there, everybody. Let's go Jets.
Woo.
Let's go Jets.
I want to make money. Couple of Bettors.